Hello, we are joining you from so-called Vancouver on the unceded territory of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam First Nations. My name is Clint Burnham. We'll be joined today as well by Cecily Nicholson, Hari Alluri, Hanako Teranishi, Noor Simon, Rita Wong, Cornell Bogle, Joanne Liao, Fatima Hirsi, and Jordan Redicop Jones. And then by video, Hala Alian, Catherine Mockler, and Jeff Dirksen. Dub version. Frenemy in the mosh pit, unliving bromance. Dancing, Wi-Fi, Half-Life, guy in guest track pants. That's a new line they have. 20 or oops, talk, pot liquor, quit lacking. You ever hear the saying, leopards ate my face? It's almost like you should have seen it coming. Get it? You can't wear a hat in a strip bar, Bennifer, holy shit bar, wearing out the memes in the elbows of my sweater. Now noodles instantly, finally, Desi Netanyahu agents, pissant, abase plants, key sun past unmyth. This is good, but needs better work than letting your landlord live rent-free in your head. Not in the NATO Navy, but yells, heads! When they flush, give me some teenage head, ejected red dot, hit record. Case of beer for the tenant, fix the intolerant junkie's light bulb. I'd like to acknowledge you're tired of my land acknowledgement poem. He's on the street in a Ladner dinner jacket. We talked, and two more come up. Someone I knew. They all three have million bags of lunch from the grocery. Squeezes by with a keep six-pack before the two cops, male, female, cheerful. Used to be salt and pepper. Now it's one big brown cop, one big white cop. Either case, outside of insight, it's the white guy plays good cop, lady cop plays bad cop. Elbows akimbo, their hands in fleece jacket pockets. Cheerful, the couple selling their bike on sidewalk. Now two female male cops pulled a large white over their stern. Whole ditch, hill figure rhymes with gold digger. Faker and a Carhartt toque. Why Mary Meds no longer on my contacts list. Straight edge shortly after legalization of pot. Gay shortly after AIDS epidemic starts. Cantonese Chising, West Indian teeth suck. Richer than Croesus, tougher than pleather. Two stories about my father that may or may not be. The mother forever to get rid of her daughter's clothing. Dad quickly got rid of my mom's clothing, separated it all into two, Goodwill versus Salvation Army or Value Village. Next to me, watch McMalbuff's moment of innocence do lat pulls on TikTok. Cyclists in Lycra outside, 200 squats, caressing his own butt. In pride, and I used to do a lot of drugs back then. A guy I was seeing, I'm sure he loved it. I'm not hitting any numbers now. I'm in maintenance. That's a chat GPT program? No, it's super structured. I need super structured. I do wonder how no ceasefires meant differently 25 years ago. It was his last day working. Heads of poets sign on and off Zoom calls. Pigeon-toed woman in flip-flops pulling her hair back through ball-cap JR New Country tote bag. Dad, you ever go to the Fox when it was a porn theater? Mom, same question. Puncheon Bridges, aka Alaskan Boardwalk. When sentences chain the same word repeatedly. Traipse through Delcatla Nature Sanctuary. Pacific Slope Cordil, Pacific Slope Court, Pacific Slope Court, Pacific Slope Court, Pacific Slope Court, Pacific Slope Cordilleran Flycatcher, Common Raven, Song Sparrow, Townsend's Warbler, Dark-Eyed Junco, Varied Thrush. John Kirk Townsend was, in addition, hanging out with Audubon, trafficked in skulls of indigenous people. Letters from John Kirk Townsend, September 20, 1835, concern Chinook and Klickitat ancestors' remains, sending to Morton from Philadelphia. Grave robbing, destruction of sacred sites in the midst of epidemic disease. Stick to what you know. I'm just going to finish with a poem that I wrote 2 years ago. It's cold and rainy here. I'm waiting for the bus to go downtown, and a guy walks by wearing a black and white kafaya. I'm wearing a red and white one. He stops, says something. I say, hey. He says, thanks for wearing that, if you even know what it means. I say, I do, I think. He's Palestinian from Gaza. Says he was a journalist in the 2000s, covered 3 of the wars, TV, worked for Press TV, Iranian English language, then a Chinese one. His cameraman was shot in the head right next to him. He got out through the tunnels to Sinai. They were controlled by ISIS then. Hard to tell what was true or not, but you don't get freedom without some violence. Then some guys came by, asked for a light, then his phone rang, then he took off. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to the organizers, to an international poetry community. I'm so honored and humbled always to be a part of a collective conversation. I'm joining you here from the unceded and unsurrendered territory, and where I am is Kwantlen, Musqueam, Kikite, and the land of the Hulkaminam speaking people. Indigenous people have resided in these lands for millennia, long before, prior to the imposition of the Canadian nation state, and are leading long into the future. Today, I would like to share, again, a poem remembering Mahmoud, 1986, by the late poet and thinker Lee Maracle. Lee Maracle was a member of the Stalo Nation, a daughter of the Métis, a granddaughter of the Tsleil-Waututh chief Dan George, and we know her and will continue to know her as an enduring force onto the idea of Can Lit. Remembering Mahmoud, 1986, Lee Maracle. Mahmoud's poems are beads of sweat dripping from stressed and weathered foreheads to fall silent, near silent, amid the incessant Israeli bombs, to rise pearls of blood from between the bits of rubble clutched by Palestinians chasing a livelihood from a shrinking land base. They become desperate word flowers, blooming nonetheless from a land occupied by settlers, chronically stealing the lives of children. It's December, it's Toronto, Gaza is on fire, a gang, another wounded knee, another massacre. No muskets this time, tanks, monster machines, bombs and missiles pummel children. How brave is that? Minus 40 degrees Celsius in Winnipeg, Palestinian and Indigenous children wave placards. Stop killing children in Palestine. Free Gaza. My tears freeze on my face. My daughter is there. Just as she was there 35 years ago, chanting, Free Palestinians. My frozen tears are cutting pain lines on my face. In between the rubble, Darwish's last words look at the world, say goodbye to Edward Said. Peer past the camps, the bombs, and the hypocrisy, stubborn, resistant, eternal. There is no tomorrow in yesterday, so let us advance. I stare at a photo. A small boy cradles a pair of stones, gleaned from the rubble. I imagine him hearing Darwish's ghostly words from these stones. They testify, this is his home. He clutches them. He looks set to advance. The stones are no longer simple rubble. They cradle a story. They cradle his memory. They cradle his hope. They cradle Darwish's last testament. There is no tomorrow in yesterday, so let us advance. In this boy's hands, the stones transform. They are the story markers of his future. They are his beginning. Beloved stones, the last bits of some place called home. They become my stones of conscience. They are his stones of pride. They will become his stones of belonging. They are the rocks of justice for us all. His face is set. His eyes see past this rubble. They see forward to his return, forward to the restoration of his homeland, forward to the right of return. In his eyes, I see Indigenous global tenacity. I touch the stones in the photo, caress his face, and commit to building a bridge, an arc of light under this wind of war, of dispossession. I want to build a pathway and blow us all toward freedom and justice. I want the wind of freedom to echo the resonance of Mahmoud's breath tracks of being. Let us pick up this stone of justice. Let us build a bridge that will lead us to laughter, to the laughter of belonging, of being where we belong, of being who we are and always will be. The light shines back to me from his eyes. The light illuminates his stones, bound as these stones are to his resolve to traverse across the abyss between his refuge and the tanks. My commitment to Palestine floats on the light emanating from his eyes and captures my heart. I whisper, Palestine, Palestine, free Palestine. Wounded knee, no more wounded knees. I imagine him listening and hearing me, nearly smiling, just before he throws his stones. Thank you. All power, liberation, land back, free Palestine.
Wow, Cecily. Word to Lee Miracle. Echoing Cecily's thanks, I'm I'm grateful to be joining y'all, and I am on unceded and unsurrendered Subaset's land in the Cowichan Valley. The first two of the three poems I'll read are for and after Suhir Hamad. Refrain. Hum is Sanskrit for we. Hum rising, hum crest, hum descended, hum falling. Enemies, tongue, folded letters, elbows, shoulder, blades, hum, unravel, shell, geometry, orchards, labor, coriander melodies torn, hum ligaments, almost connected. Knees unbound from reverence, toes away from pulses clenched, hum wounds, hum open, hum salt water, rushing to tighten skin, blood rushing to feed the earth, unparalleled streams. Hum count the dead, hum shop on Saturday, behind closed doors, hum wasn't my decision, out on the block, hum say not enough, hum why don't you, hum if you so brave, hum do it all to preserve, create, destroy, to preserve, Hamara faith, the cycle perfect, hum pray to be wrong, hum tire against snow, hum armor against home, hum cracks trying to join, voices from melodies raised in brackets, all else road. Dissolve. How long will it last? Collective punishment, aquifer, depleted marines, biologists, overhanded throwbacks, output your past into it. Have you ever slaked your thirst, closed your eyes, wondered at the sweetness, at the cost of sounding grateful for a place your lips never want to struggle to forget? This Ars Poetica is a turntabled, scratched up cento for return, with language from Venus Corrigata, Suhir Hamad, Cesar Vallejo, Semal Surea, Janina Kirtan, Rachel Cruz, Barbara Jane Reyes, Rita Dove, Tracy K. Smith, Abigail Chabitnoy, Chris Abani, Yanis Ritsos, Naomi Shihabnai, Tahar Benjaloun, Cecily Nicholson, Faisal Mohyuddin, Alberto Rios, Danusha Lamaris, and of course, Mahmoud Darwish. To lend your ruckus to a storm, become the mist on the windows of dead houses. You will want to wait for those already gone, already savoring a taste without savor. Your own blank space sits exactly like you, tonguing the gap where your molar was. Memories tugged along the curve of a river, their song a chorus of praise and day. We glimmer, like the ghost of a missing sound when an officer takes your name, when the rainfall reminds you you're still the one from elsewhere, playing hide and seek with an ankle sprain, failing to scramble your way into the silence. It's the trees acting like you could tell that child the whole sky is yours to write on, here now, We will tend the slopes we plant, singing those songs with some illicit stars in their eyes. Yes, this chant is sky, or rotund with sun, bones in the mud in place of ribbons in our laps like a gangly doll. A steady loneliness mothers away the rust. Lean into the path as nettle heavy with rain. Speaking you aloud are all the places which used to be. We know this, though we forget. And so you must weep to make yourself known to a returning cloud, hand outstretched toward the sea. Thank you.
Thank you. I am also thankful and honored to be part of this. I'm coming from the unceded. I'm coming in a visitor to the unceded lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Coquitlam people. I'm originally from Treaty 1 territory, the lands of the Chinabeg, Isinanuak, Dakota, Oyate, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. Winnipeg is where my poems take place. The Quad. Quote, the encampment has now been peacefully dismantled. will make any necessary repairs to the landscaping in order to return the quad to the community for regular use, end quote. Is what was sent out the day the encampment concluded. The next days, the tents and gates were taken down, but the tall grass and weeds held the shape of our grief and rage. The next weeks, there were signs, do not walk or sit on the grass while replanting is in progress. I could still see the shape of our bodies in the grass, now butchered. The next year, there were new signs, do not walk or sit on the grass. They told us to evacuate because we were occupying land meant to be enjoyed by all community members, yet they forcefully remove unhomed community members. They refuse safe walks to trans students. They illegally occupy Indigenous land, feigning innocence by, quote, recognizing the harms and mistakes of the past, end quote. The quad is still empty, other than signs still policing the circumference. Do not walk or sit on the grass. These next poems are erasure poems from emails the provost sent out regarding the encampment. May 6th, 2024. Hello, community. The University of Manitoba is committed to policies and law. Scheduled for 9 a.m., Security Services monitor. The expectation is respectability, policies, our commitment to impact community. May 10th, 2024. Community. The event remains peaceful. Security Services has been on site to monitor the situation, ensure an intention to remove the community. July 9th, 2024. Community. Leadership directly communicated a set of commitments to dismantle leadership. Encourages students to participate in advocacy in ways that do not infringe or impede the functioning of the university. Please see message to the Students for Justice in Palestine below. Dear Students for Justice in Palestine, your concerns dismantle the entire ability to continuously occupy. The current encampment removed UM's ability to control and is incompatible with policies. Any individual participating in unauthorized activities on campus, which includes the encampment, will be held liable. Will support perspectives in ways that do not involve erecting, block access to property, or disrupt the functioning of the university. Will pursue legal remedies for removal. Office of Provost. July 15th, 2024. Dear community, the encampment has been dismantled. Will landscape to return the quad for regular use. Leadership is committed to unauthorized occupation. Sincerely. Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for your words, everybody. I'm Nour Simon, and I'm talking to you from Jojage, Montréal, Munyang. Yeah. The title of my poem, Sami, 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 Mada tohib Sami, 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 Sami. What do you love, Sami? So I win because I chose to take my life back. Kia Morris. You blink. The joy deep in little Sammy's eyes scoops you up in full defeat. It is heat wave. It is air quality index 164. They headline that it is the worst in the world today. You tell yourself, thanks, goddesses, for the sea wind that you hope is blowing a little on the skin of little Sammy, who is dancing in the camp Refat al Arir. If I must die, you must live to tell my story. In the center of the Gaza Strip, Sami is dancing on a multicolored parachute, like the ones for special occasion from your own childhood. It's cute en tabarnak. The children chant his name, Sami, 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 Sami. His arms are stretched out on each side of his worn brown beige galabeya, its collar finely edged with the trees embroidery pattern Kiladet Saru, cypress motif tree of life, which reminds you of your own worn indigo blue galabeya printed with parallel zigzags, bright red and flash yellow, that your grandmother from Matapedia Valley sewed cotton nighty from Zellers, the kind your teta would never have sewn you. That's life. She didn't love you very much, your teta. She had survived Israeli assaults on Egypt and so much more, and had chosen her trajectory through the cycle of violence. You dream you had a teta like Cynthia's. You loved her giggly teta so much. You tell yourself that it is Sammy's eyes that the whole world has to see, that the whole world will not see, because either they are not shown at all, or only his parents' eyes in distress are shown, filled with grief in a way that is not acceptable, not recognizable to the white people watching the news. Since I was 5, I've been telling myself, fuck the white people on the news and the white people who watch it and who vote for people who are down with genocides, elections after elections, will never be able to understand the sadness of those fathers who scream, who do not look close enough to Peter Mansbridge in his restraint, of those veiled mothers who wail in a gravelly voice, who do not look enough like Barbara Walters if she had lost 8 of her children all at once, and the little friends of the ones who killed them, murdered her children, were pointing a mic and a camera at her face. But around Sammy and our hostie de résilience, pas le choix, of our we keep going and fuck all, pas le choix, the children keep chanting Sami, 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 Sami. Jabbar Thabet asks, Mada Tohib Sami, Mada Tohib Sami, Mada Tohib, while the children keep chanting Sami, 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 and they clap their hands, and at the end of his 2 arms raised towards the sky ring the snaps of little Sammy's fingers. He does not jump, but his knees mark the lift off. In the middle of stage 4 famine, Jabbar Thabet gives music-based psychological support sessions to the children of Gaza. Laughter exists. It is his name and Sammy's that should be everywhere. Sami, 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 Sami. Handala will turn around Sami. Mada tohib Sami, Mada tohib Sami. Handala will turn around Jabbar, and we will dance, all of us together, chanting Sami, 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 Sami. Mada tohib Sami, 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 Sami. Thank you.
Cornell, we're ready for your reading whenever you turn your camera on.
Like all before me, I am grateful to the organizers for the opportunity to share 3 poems. My name is Cornell Bogle. I am a Jamaican poet living on the unceded territories of the Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Gaza Mise. In Jamaica, Gaza is not a faraway place, even as geography claims 11,768 kilometers of air between us. It is a corner shop, a scheme lane, a shout flung out into hot night air by youths who want to belong to something steady, but know the readiness is all. Gaza Mise is the anthem of boys who inherit borders. They shout Gaza forever on the streets, and sometimes I wonder if it means something that someone somewhere speaks another's name and claims it as their own. A name stitched together from grief tucked under floorboards, from a history nobody signs for, yet everybody feels. But Gaza is also an island's way of saying I matter, even if the world forgets me, not knowing that a name born in smoke can cling to you like the scent of morning. And yes, still, the youths call themselves into it. Gaza as mirror, Gaza as the place inside us where belonging and danger sleep in the same fragile bed. Peace Plan Pontoon. Ceasefire ends with the land split like a grafted seed. Certain things here are quietly American. Green above, red below, a yellow seam holds the wound. An illusion of healing that further fractures. Certain things here are quietly American. Every survivor a suspect, every breath contested. An illusion of healing that further fractures. The world exhales, relieved to look away, while every survivor a suspect, every breath contested. What happens here bleeds beyond Gaza. The world exhales, relieved to look away, while the plan marches on, water indifferent to stones. What happens here bleeds beyond Gaza. Ceasefire ends with the land split like a grafted seed. The plan marches on, water indifferent to stones. Green above, red below, a yellow seam holds the wound. And finally, this rediscovered island after Kamau Brathwaite's Roots. So what happens then on this rediscovered island? Psychic tension, confused compassion, half-spoken, half-sung words explicit as ever. Labor on the very edge of trade winds, labor on the very edge of slave trade winds, racy, ruthless, rogue sympathy without sentimentality, corrugated mountains, blazing, boiling, baking, funny and fruit and fish and brazen buller and batty and man royals thrown back into the sex of the sea. Bigger men than memoried. Noise of the shop, noise of the farmer, noise of the market, noise of the quiet, noise of the empty, noise of the husk. What happens? This. Migration metaphors, contradictory omens, qualified optimism. This. All of it at once. Thank you.
Thank you, Cornell. It's been wonderful to hear all the poets. I'm coming to you from unceded Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh lands, also known as Vancouver. And just thinking about how Kamau Brathwaite I come to via Wade Compton, and thinking about tidalectives and how we might think about time as this repeating and cycle that keeps happening, and we're in the midst of it. I am going to read 3 poems. I was actually going to read the same poem that Cecily read, which is Remembering Mahmoud 1986. And then when Cecily shared it and read it so beautifully, I scrambled and I found 3 other poems to read. And I'm going to start with Mahmoud Darwish's poem, Think of Others. Think of others. As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget the pigeon's food. As you wage your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who seek peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who are nursed by clouds. As you return home to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people of the camps. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep. As you express yourself in metaphor, think of others, those who've lost the right to speak. As you think of others far away, think of yourself. Say, if only I were a candle in the dark. In the background is a photograph by Palestinian-Canadian artist Rehab Nazal. It's one of the many, many watchtowers that you will see in the West Bank. And I'm going to read 2 poems from this anthology, Heaven Looks Like Us, Palestinian Poetry. And I just want to acknowledge how much the poets and artists from Palestine have been teaching us, all of us. And I'm so grateful for all of it at an unbearable cost to the people. This poem is called Manifesto by Vera Suleiman. And Vera is a Finnish Palestinian poet. And I'll just read her bio for you quickly. She's a Tetris artist, organizer, and herbalist, and her written work explores the intersections of mixed identity, language, intergenerational memory, animism, art as resistance, and propaganda as art. Manifesto. We demand a world with many worlds in it. A world of the anthill, a world of women harvesting jokot, a world where the stave churches crumbled long ago from lack of use, a world where Majdel's looms are still threaded, a world of your mouth, a world of our word, a world where it is kept, a world of flutes at dusk, a world of the lovers and the tower, a world of the 3 lines on your chin, a world where the stone point cuts them in, a world of persons without a single it, a world of the tree fungus trade, a world of listening to comments, a world of the passenger pigeon, a world of glaciers accruing ice inch by inch, a world of the oak savanna, a world where you read my future from sweet coffee grounds tipped upside down each morning as we lay side by side under the moose hide, a world where we pay the dirge singers for their service carrying sacks of wheat like grief, a world where you and I can live together, in your house, unraised, on the hillside at the fish camp, in the circle of our tents, the central house with all the food and children where the men do not sleep, a world of our dead fed, bear grease and cacao and a little blood from your palm cut open and water from the holy well, a world of our babies fed from whatever breast is closest to the mouth, a world, we demand a world. And the poem is in reference to the Zapatistas, I should mention as well. The 3rd poem I'm going to read is by Fargo Debakti, and Fargo is a queer Palestinian performance artist, a Taurus, and a cool breeze. Okay, and this is called Palestine is a Futurism, Prophecies, Cruising Jerusalem. And I should mention that it's all in caps. I'll try to do it justice, although I'm not sure I can manage all the caps. Miracle makers, we touch heaven with our toes. Heaven looks like us. We build our own futures. We build them to look like us. No soft power over us. Radically, we define what it means to be us. Our slingshots are a collectivism. Our fishnets are a Nostradamus. Return is a future is a past. The past is a future we return to. Sunspot tasters we rhizome. Science resistors we hex the world. Only the end of the world for us. Only the biggest us we can build. In the land of no states, I will lick your eyeballs. In the sleep of no documents, I will kiss your iris. The soil retains its ideologies. The soil turns them into patatas. City wall, lean against, I stroke your stubble. Tunnel walkers, we dissolve any military, an undeclared end to all declarations. The sun has set on the British Empire, on the American Empire, on the empire of Goldman Sachs, on the empire of military contractors, on the empire of eviction enforcers, on the empire of hunger consultants, on the empire of securitization, on the empire of possibility eaters. Inside a poem, we found a tunnel. Inside the tunnel, we found ourselves. We liked our taste. We tasted our collectivism. We remembered the land was already a Marxism. We remembered our names and the art of making new ones. Lay down your arms and I will lay with them. Make me the strings of a gutted piano. I will writhe and make the song of our only nation. Return is an ontological dance step. Birds are teaching us to stay. Future is a dirty patata. Every day we are saying no to the things that keep us apart. Every day we are saying no to enclosure. Every day we are cruising Jerusalem. Every day Jerusalem is cruising us back. Palestine is a futurism. Futurism is an expansiveness of understanding. Futurism is a demolition of monuments. Futurism, a rioting cactus. Palestine, a relation of loveliness. Futurism is a Palestine. Palestine is a system of care. Care is a futurism of hands. Futurism is a Palestine. Palestine is already here. Palestine is already everywhere. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Joanne Liao. Thank you to all the poets who came before me. Thank you to the organizers. I come to you from so-called Vancouver. I'm an uninvited guest, a Singaporean Canadian poet on the lands and waters of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people. I'm reading from a long poem called The Wound Track, which is a series of found poems after a memoir by Ang Sui Chai, who's a dissident Singaporean orthopedic surgeon who was there to witness the massacres in Sabra and Shatila. She has been involved in activism for Palestine for as long as I've been alive. I'm reading from her memoir. I'm reading a found poem from the War Surgery Field Manual that she co-authored. And I'm also reading from the coffee table books of Singaporean arms manufacturers to think about complicity and solidarity, both here in Canada, Turtle Island, and also in Singapore. The Wound Track, after Hans Hassam, Ang Sui Chai, Eric Foss, and Singapore Technologies. 1. Why this book? This is a vital question. People caught in wars they did not start and are unable to stop. The injustice of the situation. If one is blanket bombed to saturation level, logic would say there is no chance of survival. I can only hear the unchanged cadence of her voice, her refusal to assimilate, her conviction. 2. A photograph of a small Asian lady with a heart-shaped face. She is standing in front of a heap of rubble. There is a wrecked car, rebar worked out of its concrete encasing. It is September 1982. She is looking for survivors. So I retreated into surgery. So it's great. You set one fracture, you take one appendix out, you have one patient, one at a time. You just help someone. You can help. So it's not bad. Many of our pioneer companies were founded during this period out of necessity to support Singapore's national defense. Driven by an urgent need to make a difference to a young nation defending itself, our pioneers learned quickly to master the science of defense, engineering, and heeded the call to be commercially viable by setting their sights on customers. 3. What is this book? We should not simply look at the wounded, dividing the patients into systems, how to improvise and pirate equipment, otherwise be beyond their reach. Bicycle spokes, carpentry tools, something like that. How to use this book, how we can assist the body to overcome the damage done by the weapon. For example, the bullet or fracture fragments may have entered the abdominal cavity. The fracture is unstable, the wound is unstable, the piece is unstable. How to debride a spinal wound, repair dural tears. perform a decompressive laminectomy. Nobody should give anesthesia, not even simple procedures, without thorough knowledge, equipment, drugs, practical training. I have no practical training. And lastly, from the same poem, 7. Multi-organ failure, respiratory failure, coagulation system failure, renal failure, liver failure, prevent systemic complications. But starvation. But they destroyed the supplies. But they tortured the doctors. But they executed the patients. But the mass graves. But they bombed the hospitals. But most artery injuries are missed at the time of the first examination. You can spend a lifetime stitching people up. You can spend a lifetime stitching people up. You can spend a lifetime stitching people up. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fatima on unceded Southlands of Vancouver Island, and I'm so grateful to be here with you all and wish that we were gathered for a different reason. This is Cradle, Black-tailed Deer, after Patricia Humanek. A fawn becomes motherless. More deer crossing signs interrupt vehicles trying to outpace light. 40 kilometers per hour is too slow for people with places to go, things to do. I drive 10 under to accommodate ungulates playing Frogger. Stop. A pair walks onto the street in front of my car. Stop. A tiny form hobbles under the larger and drinks. What is more sacred than this transference? Why will the world not stop for this transference? Headlines about level 5 starvation. On Instagram, a child plants a garden in rubble. My husband chops garlic we planted in winter. My daughter, a seed planted in spring, pulled out of the earth of me in winter. My breast, heavy with milk. My hunger, gone at the thought of so many children without parents, so many parents without children. This is solidarity. Wind and water know nothing of borders. A cut on your brow is a cut on my brow. We bleed together. Our griefs intertwine across time and distance. I don't know your name, but I feel your eyes. I want to wrap my arms around your shaking body. I, too, am holding up the cold shell of who you love. I love them, too. I love you like I love the ocean. The ocean does not know my name, but feels my heart. Names can be so colonial anyway. Fuck Linnaeus. Did he ever write about knowing the souls of beings? My soul and your soul share the same cosmic thread. Stardust of your eyelashes forms cartilage of my ear. I try to imagine your laughter. People near me don't understand my tears. You are near me. I hold your hand through cancerous cobalt and bone-licking balm. I try to find us a beach where waves are clear and clean. The breeze threads us together. This is telepathy. We are mycelium spores forming rain clouds. We are roots of trees talking beneath soil in ways no human can see. When you sigh, I stir from my sleep. My love for you is a violence. My tenderness turns me into nightmare. I want to haunt all those who dare unbraid your glory. Any who cut our brow should be afraid. The next poem is titled after words spoken by Khaled Nabkhan as he cradled the body of his 3-year-old granddaughter, Reem, who was killed by an Israeli airstrike in November of 2023. And he was killed about a year later in December of 2024. And the words that he spoke are, "This is the soul of my soul. I loved her too. I love them all, always will. A new violence blossoms inside my bosom. I sink onyx into its sharpness. Surely this is what the ones who did this are doing this want, right? I want to give them what they want. What they want is not laughter on playgrounds. I want to be the thing they love, which is not peace. Inside me, aches. I cannot speak words I want for fear of being dragged away. Politicians don't understand metaphor. This is a poem. This poem is not a threat. It is larger. Cradle this as promise. Our rage will bore into the next lives of those responsible. On all their futures. Every time they fall in love, their hearts will break. Every morning tear we cry will haunt them past their graves. There is no redemption. Each time they return to earth, it will be to feel the pain they caused. There is no apology for this. Damn these fingernails of mine. Damn these nostrils. Were I a god, I would be the kind to be feared. But I am only a mother. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here with you all today for this incredibly important reading. I'm coming to you as a guest on the ancestral and unceded land of the Tsawwassen, Musqueam, and Stolo peoples. And the poem I will be reading today centers on my experience as a product of both diaspora and displacement. It is called Terra Nullius. My body began as a cluster of violence. Once, a stranger's sigh broke through the silence and pride. You silence yourself till you're in the dark. I meditated in the clouds of his eyes and whispered, "Where does your violence breed from?" He does not know why my torso, an arrow shot through the earth, quivers. He does not understand the body, why it bends, its sudden vacancy. I've riddled the night with my history. Holding the scars of other women plunged its weight deep in my body. I'd sprouted moss and archived abalone. If the body holds memories light, when does the star explode? Muscle turns to meteor shower, interstellar gas spins silence. My ancestors and I, binary stars wrapped in electric tinsel. I search for them in Canadian institutions and swallow a black hole. I listen for my name. I hear it breathing in my body under mask and steel. The words float in a holy river. Coarse salt, clear quartz, the first impression of January snow. How beautiful is the body, the unfurling, the empty. Violence plants a pit the size of a fist, masterless, hungry, wild. I become subject to its empty gaze. I cannot grow here. I am an ocean with no door, minor syllables forgotten in a story, archived words, distilling blood. A spark flies from a field of darkness, and I face the inland wind. The coldness is bitter. I reach my hands through the morning and bite my tongue to invite the drumming beat into my body. I sink into each pulse, watching as artificial bodies swallow the heart of the earth. My mouth becomes the face of the world, open in silence. I am the firstborn daughter releasing secrets into the colonial void. I am the daughter of its destruction, forced encampment, the final breach. For the mothers and their stolen children, from Anglo waves crashing against young mothers, I sit at the crossfire of the French and British and shield my weapon hands. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Hi, my name is Barbara Tran. I'll be sharing a poem called Naturalized by Hala Alian. Can I pull the land from me like a cork? I leak all over brunch. My father never learned to swim. I've already said too much. Look, the marigolds are coming in. Look, the cuties are watching Vice again. Gloss and sound bites. They like to understand. They like to play devil's advocate. My father plays soccer. It's so hot in Gaza. No place for a child's braid under that hospital elevator. When this is over, there is no over but quiet. Coworkers will congratulate me on the ceasefire, and I will stretch my teeth into a country, as though I don't take Al Jazeera to the bath, as though I don't pray in broken Arabic. It's okay. They like me. They like me in a museum. They like me when I spit my father from my mouth. There's a whistle. There's a missile, fist bumping the earth. I draw a Pantene map on the shower curtain. I break a Klonopin with my teeth and swim. The newspaper says truce, and C-Mart is selling pomegranate seeds again. Dumb metaphor. I've ruined the dinner party. I was given a life. Is it frivolous? Sundays are tarot days. Tuesdays are for tacos. There's a leak in the bathroom, and I get it fixed in 30 minutes flat. All that spare water. All those numbers on the side of the screen. Here's your math. Here's your hot take. That number isn't a number. That number is a first word, a nickname, a birthday song in June. I shouldn't have to tell you that. Here's your testimony. Here's your beach vacation. Imagine I stop running when I'm tired. Imagine there's still the month of June. Tell me what op-ed will grant the dead their dying. What editor, what red line, what pocket, what earth, what shake, what silence. That was naturalized by Hala Alian.
Hello, I'm Catherine Mockler, and I'm joining you from Victoria, BC, on the unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Lekwungen peoples. Today I'm going to be reading works from two Palestinian poets. First, two poems by Salim al-Nafar, who was killed with his family on December 7th, 2023, in an Israeli airstrike on their home in Gaza City. These poems were translated by Muhammad Jihad Ismail. Life. Knives might eat what remains of my ribs. Machines might smash what remains of stones. But life is coming, for that is its way. Creating life, even for us. Departure. Earth is yawning, spreading her wings. Soldiers are babbling. Siege coming closer. Mirrors will go extinct. Soldiers will depart without one word. Basman Durawi was born in Kuwait and lived there for 2 years before coming to Gaza. A physiotherapist for the Ministry of Health, he graduated from Al-Azhar University in 2010 and was in Egypt taking a course in physiotherapy in October 2023. He has had to remain in Egypt since then. This poem is from the anthology Light in Gaza, and it's called Don't Step on My Feet Again. Under the constant buzzing of drones, the roar of F-16s over my head while I play hide and seek, with peace whispering, don't be just a break in between assaults. The electricity goes off, total darkness, while I dance with hope, whispering, don't step on my feet again. At the border crossing between the earth and sky, I still stand for hours, my legs are shaking, the sweat all over my body, a voice inside my head whispering, you're a full human even if you feel like half. This bread was born, this bread was killed, from Arab Lit. With clean hands, he gently sifts the flour and adds a handful of yeast. He pours the warm water for the yeast particles to live, then rolls and kneads and rolls and kneads the dough. He lets the soft mass rest. With firm but gentle hands, he rounds it into balls, flattens them into shape, and handles each one delicately into the oven. Soon, perhaps in a half hour, the bread rolls are born fresh, healthy and browned. The newborn breads breathe, yet dust chokes the air. Searing gases penetrate their thin, fragile crusts. On the day of their birth, a missal, a bakery, a scattering of za'atar, flesh, and blood. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Dirksen. I'm going to read two poems from a series that I did called Urban Trees. This one's called Bombing Soil. The soil of bombed cities, so altered, cannot grow so-called indigenous trees in dirt made by war, mingled with pulverized buildings, homes, a devastated dirt. Calcium, lime, ash, carbon, bones, burnt and turned over, emerges first disaster flora as new urban cover, unpredictable saplings follow, burnt trunks, shrapnel, bark, trees. Less natural and stressed in wounded cities, the soil forming event of bombs and species choice. A tree knows the soil, but not that it's bombed. Bombing trees. Trees of Kiev, trees of Gaza, trees of Beirut, trees of Borodankia, trees of Aden, trees of Kharkiv, trees of Marib, trees of Al Hadaidu, trees of War of the Cities, trees of Derna, trees of Smara, trees of Aleppo, trees of Damascus, trees of Halabsha, trees of Jibo, trees of Rafah, trees of Aita al-Shab, trees of Vovansk, trees of Avdivka, trees of the West Bank, trees of Sana, trees of Marari, trees of... Thanks.
Hello. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Sorry?
Yep, you're loud and clear.
Okay. My name's Alex. I am reading from Toronto today. I'm going to be reading from Haja Mirwali's Revolutions. This is called Hourglass Procedure, 20-minute poems to be read in two directions. Plus and minus.
Looks like we might have lost Alex, so I'm going to bring Bushra up for another reading.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Bushra. I'm going to be reading from Ossuary 1 from Ossuaries by Dion Brand. What brutal hours, what brutal days, do not say. Oh, find the good in it, do not say. There was virtue, there was no virtue, not even in me. Let us begin from there. Restraining metals, covered by hearts, rivulets of some unknown substance transfused my veins. At night, especially at night. It is always at night. A wall of concrete enclosed me. It was impossible to open my eyes. I lived like this, as I said, without care. Tanks rolled into my life. Grenades took root in my uterus. I was sickly each morning, so dearly. What to say? Life went on around me. I laughed. I had drinks. I gathered with friends. We grinned our aluminum teeth. We exhaled our venomous breaths. We tried to be calm in the invisible architecture. We incubated like cluster bombs, whole lives waiting, whole stellar regions, discoveries of nebulae and compassion. From the cities, the electric rains pierced us. The ceaseless bitter days folded like good linen. The phosphorus streets gave off their harmful lights. We bit our fingernails to blue buttons. We staggered at the high approach of doorways, plunged repeatedly to our deaths, only to be revived by zoos, parades, experiments, exhibits, television sets. Oh, we wanted to leave. We wanted to leave the aspirated syllables and villages, the skeletal dance floors, the vacant moons that tortured us. When the jailers went home and the spectators drifted away and the scientists finished their work, like a bad dog chained to an empty gas station for blue nights, I got worse and worse. So troubling, I would fall dead like a specimen at the anthropometric spectacles on the Champ de Mars, the Jardin d'Acclimatation, the mobile addresses of the autopsy fields, though I could see no roads. I was paid for losing everything, even eyesight. I lived in the eternal villages. I lived like a shaggy doll, with a break, a bell, a red mouth. I thought this was the way people lived. I lived, I had nights of insentient adjectives, shale nights, pebble nights, stone nights, igneous nights of these nights, the speechlessness. I recalled the right ribs of the lit moon, the left hip of the lit moon. What is your name? They asked. I said nothing. I heard the conspiratorial water. I heard the only stone. I ate her shoulder. I could not hear myself. You are mistaken, I said to no one. The chain link fences glittered like jewelry, expensive jewelry, portable jewelry. I lost verbs, whole like the hull of almonds. After consideration, you will discover, as I, that verbs are a tragedy, a bleeding cliffside, explosions. I'm better off without, with vermilion, candles. This bedding, this mercy, this stretcher, this solitary, perfectible strangeness and edge, such cloth, this compass of mine, of earth, of mourners, of these reasons, of which fairgrounds, of which theories, of plurals, of specimens of least and most, of expeditions, then travels and wanders and journeys, then photographs and photographs, of course, the multiplications of which, the enormity of this, and drill bits, and hammers, and again handcuffs, and again rope. Coarse business, but there. Some investigations, then again the calculations, such hours, such expansions, the mind dizzy with leaps, such handles of wood and thought. And then science, all murder, melancholic skulls, pliant to each fingertip, these chromatic scales, these calipers, the needle in the tongue, the eyes, so, whole diameters, circumferences, loculations, an orgy of measurements, a festival of inches, gardens and paraphernalia of measurements, unificatory data, curious data, beautiful and sensuous data. Oh, yes, beautiful. Now of attractions and spectacles of other sheer forces and types in the universe. The necessary, exotic measurements, rarest measuring tapes. A sudden, unificatory nakedness, bifurcatory nakedness of numbers, of violent phantasms at exhibitions again, of walks, of promenades. At fairs with products, new widgets, human widgets, with music. Oh, wonders, the implications. Then early in this life, like mountains. Then early in this life, like mountains, already pictures and pictures before pictures, after pictures and cameras. There's sickness, eye murder, murder sickness, hunger sickness. This serendipity of calculators, of footprints with fossils, their wingspan of all time, at crepuscules, rare peace time, if only, like water in daytime, no solace, so different from solitude, all madness, so furious, so numerous, the head, the markets, the soles of the feet, so burnt, so thin. And the taste, so meager, so light-headed, the cloud flashes, the lightning geometry, the core of reflectivity, so vastly vast. And the weight now, lumens of aches, such aches, the horizontal and the vertical aches of lightning, its acoustics. Thank you.